Now the floor is given to Ministry of Defense of Ukraine spokesman on ATO-related issues, Colonel Oleksandr Motuzyanyk. Good afternoon, everyone. Now to your attention is the information about the events that happened during the last 24 hours in the ADO area. The Lugansk area in Crimea, there was 20-minute shelling delivered by the enemy. The enemy used mortars, anti-tank rocket complexes, and also a number of enemy provocations happened in the Popasnyansky region and started in the morning, and during the second part of the day the militants increased the intensity of fire. One more enemy shelling happened in Stanitsa Luganska. During the last 24 hours in Lugansk area, the militants carried out 8 shellings. The Donetsk area in Svetlodarsk Bulge, it was calm yesterday. In Novolugansk, there was 1 shelling delivered by the enemy, and in Zaitsev and Verkhnyoteretsk, the occupants actively used mortars both during the day and at night. And aggressive actions of the enemy continue near Avdiivka. The occupants, as previously, are more active during second part of the day. They deliver multi-hour mortar and tank shellings, and they continue to shell in flanks with the same intensity. The number of ammunition launched is calculated in hundreds, and in the and also there were ruining of 2 floors of multi-story building in Avdiivka. They were damaged and caught fire. 2 people were wounded, one of them underage child. And law enforcers and doctors continue to provide qualified help to those who suffer from barbaric actions of Russian occupation forces. And in the Donetsk airport and its suburbs, it was quiet. And on the whole, in the Donetsk area, there were 30 enemy shellings, including 14 with the use of mortars. The Mariupol area, the situation deteriorated in Volnovasky region. Several our positions, Trudivska, Starognatovka, and Novogrigorivka, were shelled by the enemy with the use of cannons and mortars. Several vehicles of the armed forces of Ukraine were damaged in the course of shelling. All this happened during dark hours. And also the situation is tense in the south. There the enemy continues its aggressive action in Pavlopil, Shirokina part of front line, and regularly uses mortars and armored vehicles. In Krasnogorovka, traditionally the enemy delivered shelling in the evening, and the militants opened fire at Mariinka checkpoint, and the enemy delivered 35 shellings in the Mariupol area. During the last 24 hours, in the result of the military actions, no Ukrainian serviceman was killed, but 4 were wounded, and 1 volunteer was killed, and our hearts go out to the relatives of the volunteer who died. In Luganshina, SB officers detained the militant at Stanitsa Luganska checkpoint. A man in 2014 was the member of LPR militant group, and he said that he served a checkpoint of the occupants, and also he came to the territory that is controlled to get his pension. And law enforcers of Bakhmut seized ammunition from a man. At the mobile checkpoint, they stopped a car to check, and in the course of search of things of 19-year-old passenger, they confiscated 4 grenades of different models, 2 knives, 5 signal flares, and 2 percussion grenades. The perpetrator said that he planned to send this dangerous freight to other oblasts. At the same time, detachments of anti-aircraft regiment named after Ivan Vygovsky took part in 3-day training. They rehearsed organization and use of military equipment. They were trained to provide first medical aid, and they rehearsed evacuation of wounded and deployment of signal systems. And 14 trucks went through Novotroitsk checkpoint, bringing help from UN NGO agencies. They brought hygienic kits with overall mass of 133 tons. This is help for the residents of Donetsk Oblast. Thank you very much and goodbye.